Sure, you can always shop around for flooring, but in the end, it all leads back to the one place you probably should have started, the experts at Carpet One. Save yourself the time and the hassle and let Carpet One help you find the right product at the right price, beautifully installed, guaranteed. Come see the One, Carpet One, on the Business Loop in Columbia.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Friday, September the 16th. Here he is, Larry Brown, singer, storyteller, songwriter, Waltzing with Bears singer.
Well, that was a long time ago.
No, I tell you what, I really enjoyed that song you did the last time you were on here, Waltzing with Bears. You had a lot of comments about it,
Thank
too.
you. Yes, I have too.
But today you have a story, right?
I have a story, Paul, because often you have me on holiday or the Radio Friends show that's closest to a holiday, and today is no exception.
Yeah, today is...
Well, today is the observation of Constitution Day.
Actually, tomorrow...
Well, the 17th of September is
Constitution
Day, and then begins Constitution Week. And that... it's been a U.S. holiday since 1950s. 1956, I think, President Eisenhower first established it. And it's there to help citizens think about protecting and defending the Constitution, but probably more importantly for the average citizen, be informed about our heritage, about what it is, and to study the history around it. The Constitution, as of course you know, Paul, 38 delegates signed on September 17th, 1787. And but it wasn't officially, of course, the Constitution until states ratified it, and it took almost a year before the states got on board with it. But I wanted to say, Paul, that there's a shadow that falls on September 17th.
There's a shadow that falls?
A shadow that falls on September 17th.
What is that shadow?
Well, the shadow is the shadow of the Washington Monument. Because you see, the Washington Monument as an obelisk acts as any obelisk would, a kind of a sundial for its shadow. And on September 17th, if you would be standing on the steps of the Capitol building and look toward the Washington Monument, you would see the sun like it's perched right on top.
Is that right?
Because you will notice that the shadow of the Washington Monument will come all the way. At the point of that shadow will hit the steps of the Capitol on Constitution Day.
At what time?
Well, it'd probably be in the afternoon, late in the afternoon.
So
if it's a sunny day.
On Constitution Day, if you're standing on the steps of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C.
You should see the tip of the shadow of the Washington Monument right there at your feet.
Oh.
Well, now, of course, the Washington Monument was built much later than the Constitution, of course, as you know. There was two attempts to build the Washington Monument. The first was in the 1840s, 48 to 54, and it was done by private funding, and they ran out of funds. Then it was postponed till after the Civil War, and then the Washington Monument got public funds, and between 1876 and 1884, then it was completed. And there were shifts and changes, but they used a model of an ancient Egyptian obelisk. And in any case, if you put something like that up in the air, a shadow is going to do it. So it's kind of a sundial for various kinds of things all the way around it, every day, all year round. Now this year, Paul, you know, is the 100th anniversary of the state parks. And the Washington Monument was incorporated into, the national parks. And the Washington Monument was incorporated into the national park system in 1933. So they've been the ones to take care of it. And so I was thinking about both, of course, Constitution Day, national parks. It'd be a good time to talk about that monument. But if you watch that monument now, and here's the story, that it's going to point to various aspects of our U.S. history as you follow that shadow around during the year.
During the seasons of the year.
So on April 9th, you will see the tip of the shadow will touch the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Because April 9th was the official end of the Civil War.
Oh, and that couldn't just be coincidence.
It's not coincidence.
It's not coincidence.
You will find on July 4th that the tip of that shadow falls on a little plaque that sets out in the mall designating what was called the Jefferson Pier. Now, when Jefferson was in the White House, there was a little canal came up there, and there was literally a pier. Well, they were going to put the Washington Monument at a slightly different location than it is today, and where it would have been is where the plaque for the Jefferson Pier is, and the shadow falls there on July 4th, of course. You will see on August 15th, it will touch the World War II monument, and August 15th is VJ Day, Victory over Japan
You're
Day.
giving me the goosebumps there, Larry.
Well, it's again, you almost would contract the important history. On the winter solstice,
December
21st, it will touch the ellipse. Now, the ellipse is that circle, sometimes called President's Park, that's just south of the White House, which is the very center of the square or diamond that makes up Washington, D.C. So the shadow will touch that ellipse on the winter solstice.
So when they were building the Washington Monument and deciding where to place it, there was no thought given to any of this.
Oh, of course there was. Of course there was. Oh, yes, they had to work. This is not.
You think there was thought given to where the shadows would fall?
Sure, this is not coincidence. They were working with a geometry and placement. I mean, Washington, D.C. is laid out, with intricate geometric details, spatially.
So you feel that this was all planned?
Oh, I think so.
But you don't have any proof of that.
Well, I don't know. I think there are folks who were trying to look at the historic documents, and because there were a lot of planners who were very much interested in, the shape and design, because this is sort of case in point, Jefferson intended for there to be a prime meridian in the United States. The prime meridian goes through Greenwich in England, but he wanted the United States to have a prime meridian. And if he would got his choices, it would have run through the middle of the ellipse in Washington, D.C. Well, or the ellipse was placed there where Jefferson thought would be the prime meridian for the United States. So, yes, there were scholars, there were historians, there were politicians, there were city planners, all a part of what makes Washington, D.C. this incredible landscape of monuments, and all things are placed intentionally for certain kinds of things.
Okay. But it gave me the goosebumps anyway, just thinking of it. It is a beautiful city. Sometimes it comes to a stop, but it's a beautiful city, and it's a great place to visit, too.
And certainly, if you want to, understand our heritage and history.
Yeah, Washington, D.C. Larry Brown. If you want more information about Larry Brown or some of his music or stories or songs, how can they get in touch with you?
You can look at my website, which is brownstory.com, or contact me at brownstory@hotmail.com.
Okay, Larry Brown, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Monday, Walk Back in Time and Maples Rep Theater. Hope you have a good weekend. Our program directed by Travis McMillan, Reynolds Journalism Institute. Audio is Pat Akers from KBIA. Our floor director is Zach Sayer, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser. Bye-bye.